Today we are going to start off our weekend suspension upgrade by working on the stabilizer bar. What I'm going to do is pull this guy off. It is the original one. I'm going to paint it so it looks a little nicer, because all the people that, you know, look under your car at this kind of stuff. But if somebody ever did, it's just kind of nice peace of mind to, I don't know, I prefer to do things right when I fix them. But yeah, pretty easy change out. We're also going to this weekend work on all these nasty old ball joints and tie rod ends and get those all cleaned up and fixed up. But again, today we're working on the stabilizer bar, and what we have to do first is there are 2 inch and what are these? 1 1/8 nuts holding the back end of the bar on. And then we've also have 4 of these little guys, and those are 11/16 bolts on each side. And these are holding, you know, the rubber bushings in there, and there's also rubber bushings that we're going to need to replace inside of this bar as well. So I've sprayed penetrating oil on the big guys because I believe that those are torqued down to like 130 pounds. These ones should be a little easier to get off. So I will I'll get these this camera set up and take these bolts off. Using your 11/16 inch driver, you just back both of these nuts off of this mounting bracket. Yeah, pretty old. Glad I'm replacing these today, and dusty. So we will do the exact same thing to the other side now. So once your 2 larger bolts are out, this whole bar will just pull directly out of the truck. Okay, we have the old bar off of the truck. We have our old bushings out. I need to press these bushings out of the bar. What we're going to do is sand this bar down and actually use chassis paint and paint it all up nice and clean it all up nice along with these brackets. Make everything look as new as possible. Replace some of these bolts that are pretty nasty. Might as well, since we've got it off. So what I'll do now is get to cleaning these parts up, and when you come back you'll see the difference a little sandpaper can make and some new just some good old-fashioned cleaning, and then we'll also have our new parts. With the stabilizer bar off the truck now, we want to remove these existing bushings. As you can see, they are pretty dry rotted and shot. And then I also, after I get those out, we'll work on painting the stabilizer bar and putting new bushings in. The method I've found for removing these bushings is just to take a hammer and put your foot on the bar and just hit that bushing, the metal sleeve, and it starts to back out. And then once you got it backed out a ways, you take a socket that is the similar diameter, and it hammers right out with the sleeve popped out. Now you can take a flathead screwdriver and basically just pry this thing back out. There you go. Painting chassis parts, you want to, I always start with a wire wheel brush on a drill, and what that'll do is take off all of the heavy deposits on here, because if you start using sandpaper it'll just clog it up. Once I'm done with the wire wheel, I go to a 60 grit dry sandpaper. And I'm just working to knock off most of the really gritty high points just so I can maximize how much actual raw steel is showing. Then once I'm done with the 60 grit, I come down to 220 and wet sand the bar. Just taking off all of the remaining high points that I can find before I paint it. The next step is I use a wax or grease remover or even brake cleaner and just go over the part thoroughly, picking up any remaining debris on it. Getting it ready for paint. This is the paint that I use. It's obviously for roll bar and chassis. I have had great luck with this. It's awesome stuff. You don't have to use primer. And with this, just like any other rattle can, shake it up. And you just put a light first coat on, so just a tack coat. Just super light. And then with this stuff, I found about 5 minutes later, you want to do a second coat. And I've only needed a second coat. This stuff covers really well. It's really durable. So you just want to paint to make sure you cover any spots you haven't totally covered yet. But I mean, it's really, really nice stuff. And you want to obviously do both sides and any other parts. Doing the bolts so they match. But yeah, it's as easy as that. Just a lot of prep work, and the painting is the easy part. Here we are the day after, and here is the finished product. This thing looks really nice. It turned out good. I'm really happy with it. For all the times I look under my vehicle and think, ooh, that's a nice bar. But peace of mind, at least I know it's done up right and sealed right. So I'll get this thing put back together and get it put back on the truck. Complete. Our rebuild turned out pretty nice. Both of our bushings are seated. I had to take these into a tire shop to actually get these seated. I was building all sorts of contraptions to try and make it work, and I couldn't make it work in my shop. But we've got most of the hardware replaced. I think the only thing I didn't replace are these giant bolts, but everything else, all the mounts to the frame are new. So I guess all we have to do is mount this to the truck, and I'll show you guys the finished product. But it's pretty easy to rebuild a stabilizer bar and also finish chassis parts for underneath your truck. So what I'll do right now, I guess, is take you to the bottom of the truck. When reinstalling the bar, you want to take one of the edges and set it on top of the leaf spring and put it back into place where your large diameter bolts mount up, and then feed those through and start to thread them into place to hold the stabilizer bar on the passenger side. And then take your other one and thread it through on the other end. You just want to get these snugged up, but you don't want to have them torqued down. Once we have our main bolts snugged down, but not torqued, so we can still move our bar, we want to install our bushings that mount to the actual frame of the truck. So what you do is you separate the rubber piece, and that'll separate and fit around the bar like so. And then with the rubber bushing in place, you want to take your saddle, push it on the bushing, and then that will feed right into the frame. So the reason you leave the bolts on this guy loose is so when you put your other bushing on, you can still fit it in between the frame and the bar, like so. Okay, here is the new bar, new old bar, completely installed. Everything looks awesome. Very happy with how it turned out. Hope this was informative to you guys. If you liked it, subscribe. Always appreciate that. And again, always posting a lot more videos, so be on the lookout for the next upcoming videos.